Most people think the dark web is just drugs and scams. A place where desperate people buy fake passports, or teenagers try to feel edgy by browsing black markets they'll never dare to order from. That's the image everyone has: shadowy storefronts, creepy chat rooms, maybe a hitman ad you're not supposed to click. But that's not the truth. Not the whole truth. Because buried deeper, in corners that feel less like websites and more like traps, there are places that don't sell anything. They don't even try to trick you. They just sit there, waiting. Watching. And if you're stupid enough, like I was, to type your own name into one of those corners, you'll find something much worse than a scam. You'll find yourself. I don't mean old photos from Facebook. I don't mean leaked passwords. I mean something that knows you, in a way nothing should. Something that keeps knowing you, even after you close the browser. That's where I am now. Trapped in the fallout of a single search. My hands are shaking as I type this. My phone keeps buzzing, though I turned it off hours ago. The screen on my laptop flickers with windows I never opened, filling themselves with lines of text that look like diary entries. My diary entries. Except I never wrote them. Every sound in this room feels amplified: the faint hum of the ceiling fan, the ticking clock that suddenly seems too loud, too deliberate. And underneath all of it, there's breathing. Not mine. Not steady. Too close. Sometimes I think it's behind me. Sometimes I swear it comes from inside the speakers. I keep refreshing the page, though I don't know why. It updates itself now. New photos, time-stamped. Pictures of me taken seconds earlier, at angles no camera should have. I scroll faster, heart hammering. My hands leave sweat streaks across the keyboard. There's a new video file. The thumbnail shows my room. Right now. I don't click it. I can't. Because if I do, I'll have proof. Proof that I'm not just paranoid. Proof that the shadows in the corner really are moving closer every time I look away. Proof that this isn't some nightmare I'll wake up from. And yet, not knowing might be worse. I tried unplugging everything once. Pulled the Ethernet cord out, turned off the router, even yanked my PC cables from the wall. The screen stayed on. The site stayed loaded. And in the chat window at the bottom, letters appeared. Don't turn away. My pulse slammed against my throat so hard I thought I'd choke. I didn't even have time to breathe before another line appeared. We're not finished. It feels like I'm narrating my own execution, like every word I'm saying right now is already written somewhere, waiting for me to catch up. That's the worst part, the sense that I'm not in control anymore, that I'm walking a path someone, or something, already laid out for me. If you're hearing this, it means I survived long enough to warn you. Maybe not much longer, but enough to say one thing. Don't make the mistake I did. Don't get curious. Don't think you're different. Because the moment you search your name on the dark web, you'll realize you've already been found. I didn't believe it either. Not until I saw what was waiting for me, all those nights ago. That's where it started. And that's where I'll take you now. Before all of this, my life was painfully ordinary. Too ordinary, maybe. I was 21, grinding through college classes I didn't care about, picking up shifts at the campus IT help desk, and spending my nights the same way most people my age did, scrolling endlessly, looking for something, anything, to break the monotony. I wasn't reckless. I wasn't some thrill seeker chasing adrenaline. If anything, I was boring. My biggest rebellion was ordering takeout at 2 in the morning or skipping a lecture because I stayed up gaming. If you had asked me back then what the scariest thing I'd ever done was, I'd probably have said failing a math quiz. That's the part that makes this all so absurd. It didn't start with some dark urge or dangerous obsession. It started with boredom. One night, I was in my dorm, slouched in my chair, half watching some streamer play horror games with fake jump scares, half reading a tech forum I lurked on. Most of the posts were the usual: hardware flexing, troubleshooting threads, people arguing about which antivirus was least trash. But buried between the noise was a thread that caught my eye. The title was short. Just, search your own name. At first, I thought it was another ego-surfing joke. A chance to laugh at the idea of Googling yourself and finding a long-lost MySpace account. But the replies were different. They weren't about Google. They were about Tor. Hidden sites. Dark corners. And people swore that if you dug deep enough and typed your own name, something would answer back. Most brushed it off as an ARG, a creepypasta in the making. A few even made memes about it. But then there were the other comments. The ones that didn't read like jokes. The ones that said things like, "Don't. You'll regret it," or, "It doesn't just stop when you close the browser." I remember laughing. Literally laughing out loud in my empty dorm room. Because it sounded ridiculous. Some half-baked internet myth. Something for people who wanted to scare themselves before bed. But the thing about boredom is, it eats at you. It makes stupid things sound like challenges. I screenshotted the thread and sent it to a friend, just for the joke. "Hey," I typed, "should I see what the dark web knows about me?" He sent back a skull emoji, then, "Do it. If you disappear, I'm taking your PS5. I didn't reply. Not because I was scared, at least, not yet, but because some part of me was already curious. It stuck in my head like a splinter. That's the moment everything shifted. Not when I typed my name. Not when I found the site. But when I let the idea linger. At first, it was just a joke, until I saw something I can never unsee. That night was the last normal one I ever had. The last time my room felt safe, the last time the glow of my laptop felt harmless. Because the next night, I decided to find out if the thread was true. The next night, I couldn't stop thinking about that thread. It played in my head like a dare whispered over and over. Every time I closed my laptop, I'd picture it waiting for me, bold white text glowing against the forum's black background. Search your own name. So I gave in. Booting up Tor wasn't new to me. I'd used it a handful of times before, usually for the novelty of it. I'd clicked through markets selling counterfeit cash, sketchy pharmacies, and services no sane person would buy. It always felt theatrical, like playing tourist in a neighborhood you'd never actually live in. But this time was different. The glow of the browser felt heavier, the silence in my dorm thicker. Every click echoed too loudly in the stillness of the room. I muted my phone, pulled the blinds tighter, even turned off the little desk lamp. Just the pale glow of the monitor, humming quietly in the dark. At first, everything looked familiar. Marketplaces with lists of weapons and fake IDs, forums with the same recycled arguments, scam pages dressed up like they had secrets to sell. But if you dig long enough, you start noticing doors. Hidden links, URLs that don't quite fit. They look like garbage at first, strings of nonsense letters, but if you follow them, you get somewhere else. I went deeper. The forums changed. Gone were the endless arguments about VPNs or security exploits. These boards had fewer users, fewer posts. And the conversations didn't feel like conversations, they felt like warnings. One thread read simply, "Do not ask. It finds you first." Another, "Ignore the mirrors. Look for the original." It didn't make sense. Or maybe it did, and I didn't want it to. I scrolled faster, past usernames that looked wrong. Not handles like Dark H4 Cur or Anon 420, but things like You Shouldn't be here or Already Watching. I thought they were jokes. Until one of them messaged me directly. The chat window popped open without me clicking anything. Just 2 words. Welcome back. I froze. My stomach lurched as if I'd missed a step on a staircase. Back? I'd never been here before. At least, I didn't think I had. I closed the window. It reopened instantly. Don't turn away now. That was when the paranoia started to sink its claws in. I checked the webcam, slid a sticky note across it, though I had never been the kind of guy to worry about surveillance before. I told myself it was random, just trolling. But every page I opened after that felt targeted. The links weren't listed publicly anymore, they appeared in my search results as if waiting for me specifically. That's how I found the marketplace that wasn't a marketplace. No drugs, no weapons, no fake passports. Just a search bar at the center of the page. Nothing else. Plain white box, blinking cursor, a prompt above it in stark letters. Who are you looking for? I laughed at first. Nervous laughter, the kind that cracks under its own weight. This had to be the place the forum thread was talking about. It had to be some elaborate ARG, a hacker's prank, something I could screenshot and show off later. But my hands hovered over the keyboard longer than I'd admit. The search bar felt like an open mouth, waiting to swallow whatever I typed. For a second, I considered searching someone else. A celebrity. A professor. My friend who told me to do it as a joke. But that wasn't the dare, was it? The dare was to search your own name. That was the point. That was what had been eating at me since I first read the thread. The glow of the monitor seemed to pulse brighter, like it was urging me on. The cursor blinked in rhythm with my heartbeat. I told myself it was harmless. Just pixels. Just text on a screen. But my palms were sweating, and my throat was dry. Somewhere in the background of my headphones, I swore I could hear a faint crackle, like static trying to form words. I typed the first letter of my name. The chat window popped back up immediately. We've been waiting. My hand trembled over the keyboard. And then, I finished typing my name and hit enter. The screen went black for a full second after I hit enter. Just enough time for my pulse to spike, for me to think I'd broken something, for me to hope maybe it was all just a glitch. Then the page reloaded. At first, it looked simple. Just lines of text, like an old search engine from the 90s, ugly fonts, no logos, no ads. But every single result had one thing in common. My name. It wasn't just once or twice. Every line. Dozens of them. Hundreds, maybe. And each entry looked personal. Too personal. The first was an address. Not my dorm address, my childhood home. The house I grew up in, halfway across the state. Street name, house number, even the old landline we disconnected years ago. The next result was worse. A string of files labeled with dates. Dates that matched milestones in my life. The day I graduated high school. The night of my first car accident. The date my grandfather died. Every one of them, tied to a file. My hands shook as I clicked one. It opened a text document. Plain sentences, clinical, but the words cut through me like knives. He wakes up late today. He will skip his morning class. He thinks of texting her but doesn't. He eats instant noodles. It was describing me. Not from years ago. From that morning. I slammed the laptop shut so fast it rattled on the desk. My heart was hammering in my throat. I stood up, pacing in the dark, trying to convince myself this was fake. A script. A trick. Some hacker running surveillance with a time delay. But even as I thought it, I knew it didn't make sense. No one could know that much. Not unless they'd been inside my head. I should have stopped there. Closed everything, wiped my drive, walked away. But curiosity, it doesn't let go once it has teeth in you. When I opened the laptop again, the page hadn't closed. It had multiplied. Dozens more results filled the screen. This time, not just text. Photos. The first was of me and my best friend at a diner, laughing over greasy food. I remembered the night. It was our first semester of college, and I'd posted it on Instagram. But this photo wasn't the one I posted. The angle was different. From behind. Like someone else had been watching us, documenting it. The next photo was of me asleep in my dorm. Taken from the corner of the room, high up, like from the ceiling. I tore the sticky note off my webcam and shoved it over again, but it didn't matter. The angle wasn't from my laptop. Another photo loaded. Me in the shower. The curtain half drawn. My veins turned to ice. I didn't even breathe. New results kept appearing faster than I could process them. Pictures of me walking to class. Sitting in the library. Grocery shopping. At my desk, right now, half blurred, as if uploaded seconds after being taken. And then came the video. The thumbnail froze my blood. It was my room. Not a photo, not a screenshot, live. The tiny timestamp in the corner was accurate to the second. I didn't click it. I couldn't. The thought of seeing what else might be in the room with me was unbearable. Instead, I scrolled further. Maybe hoping to outrun it. Maybe hoping to find something that made sense. That's when I saw the chat window flicker open again. Don't be afraid. This is just the beginning. My fingers hovered over the keys. I didn't type back. I don't know if I could have formed words even if I wanted to. Another message appeared instantly, as if it had been waiting for my silence. Look deeper. The search results shifted again. This time, the entries weren't about my past. They were about my future. Files labeled with dates that hadn't happened yet. Tomorrow. Next week. 2 months from now. The first prediction was small, almost laughable. He will oversleep and miss class again. The second made my stomach lurch. He will get a call at 3:12 a.m. Do not answer. The third. I couldn't read the third all the way through. My eyes kept skipping, refusing to take in the words, because it described something that hadn't happened, yet felt inevitable. A place. A time. The way I would die. I slammed the laptop shut again, harder this time. My hands were sweating so badly the keys felt slick. For a few minutes, I just sat there, frozen, every muscle locked in place. Listening. Waiting. Certain that when I looked up, there would be someone else in the room. But the room was empty. The only sound was the faint hum of the ceiling fan and the pounding of my own heart. Still, I couldn't shake the feeling I'd crossed a line. That I wasn't just looking at some creepy sight. That something on the other side was looking back. And the worst part? I knew I wasn't done yet. Because buried at the bottom of the results was one last file. The title was simple. Just my full name. Nothing else. And I couldn't resist opening it. The file stared back at me like a dare. Just my name, typed in all caps. No date. No extension. Nothing to tell me what it was. That I hovered over it for a long time. My fingers twitched toward the trackpad, then pulled back. A part of me whispered that I'd already gone too far, that closing the laptop now might save me. But the other part, the louder part, told me that if I stopped here, I'd never sleep again.